2030, Amplifying Cross-Sectoral Collaborations and Resource Mobilizations Dialogue. My name is Rizali Indra Kusuma. I'm now working with the Stop TB Indonesian Partnership, and I will be guiding you through our program tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sustainable Development Goals has set an ambitious target of ending TB epidemic in 2030. Controlling the disease has been a development target since the Millennium Development Goals, and yet it remains to be a challenging goal to achieve. TB is the 9th highest cause of death worldwide, and the leading cause from a single infectious agent, ranking above HIV/AIDS. As you can see from the presence of esteemed guests tonight, you can feel the strong efforts that are being made to challenge what we have in front of us. And during this important United Nations General Assembly week, we will get to see government entities, academia, the private sector, civil societies, and youth come together to deliver solutions to save lives and end suffering from TB. This momentum serves to set TB to the highest political level, showing that the TB epidemic is wider than just a health issue. We will hear more from our distinguished speakers and discussants as we progress forward. We hope this dialogue will provide ways for us to strengthen coordination between different stakeholders and build upon existing partnerships to optimize resource mobilization toward end TB strategy. And to welcome you tonight, please give a round of applause to our host, Chairman of the Forum Stop TB Partnership Indonesia, Mr. Arifin Panigoro. Panigoro, the floor is yours.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I think I agree what Ibu just done, Ibu Nila, because let's, as a host, bon appetit. Enjoy the food, and then I like to say something. Parallel, we do it parallel. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, especially to our Health Minister from Indonesia, Ibu Nila. Special thanks to Stop TB Global, Lucica.
This is the RD from the shadows of this.
Ini saya belum kenal nih. Udah kenalan aja dulu.
Welcome, Dr. Poonam.
Dr. Poonam. Thank you for coming, Doctor. Please, I shall continue what I have to read. On behalf of Stop TB Partnership Indonesia, I would like to welcome everyone to this dinner dialogue. It is an honor for me as the chairperson of Stop TB Partnerships Indonesia to host this very important gathering of TB activists, policymakers, and health advocates. As we gather here tonight, anticipating the first ever high-level meeting on TB at UNGA, the urgency to accelerate effort to end TB rings very, very clear. Every day, thousands of people worldwide die from TB. In Indonesia, despite the availability of free TB medication, still kills 300 people daily, an indication that all of is not well with the management of TB patients in the community. Though progress is underway, we still have a long way to go before ending TB, a goal that no doubt we are all here for. There are at least two aspects we need to bear in mind. First, there is increasing evidence of a rise in the rate of drug-resistant TB. Second, it remains challenging to mobilize needed resources. The latter concern me more as it may fuel the severity of the first. The high-level meeting in this coming Wednesday is a rare opportunity. There have been only 4 other health topics discussed in UNGA in the past: HIV in 2001, NCDs in 2011, Ebola in 2014, and antimicrobacterial resistance in 2015. This signifies how important and urgent it's for the global community and of course Indonesia to end TB by 2030, as agreed under the Sustainable Development Goals. One well-known TB resource mobilization success story I can think of Sweden. TB was once responsible for 25% death in the country in the beginning of 20th century. The royal family was involved in establishing a dedicated clinic to offer better diagnostic and clinical care. Public resources and facilities were massively mobilized. Since then, TB steadily declined following improved research and clinical knowledge. In 1975, the BCG vaccine was even stopped as TB was eliminated in Sweden. Sweden's success stories serve as both lesson and warning. It teaches us that eliminating TB is not impossible as long as well-targeted and massive resource mobilization is channeled. However, 50 to 60 years socio-economic gap between countries like Sweden and other developing countries should not be acceptable. And yet, today, 12 years prior to 2030, TB situation in developing world show minimum progress. Across developing region, detachment between the public and private sector has been found unproductive and fuels further spread of TB. Coming from private sector background, I, too, can feel that too often the private sector is perceived as the main challenge by the public sector. Perhaps it may ring true to many, but if we look into the context of resource mobilization, along with economic growth, private sector more often may manage to mobilize more resources, and in regard to healthcare, they are capable of reaching out and serving more patients. It is here that we can turn challenge to opportunity. In Indonesia, as in India, the private sector managed 60% of all TB patients. This percentage is not merely a number. It represents millions of lives that could be saved. Private sector engagement, such as through the public-private mix model, is essential to achieve universal access to quality diagnosis and treatment. A strategic approach to explore the model would include mapping the private sector in terms of core competence. At Stop TB Partnership Forum, we contribute through providing support to the Minister of Health by conducting mapping and stakeholders engagement in a comprehensive way. As we find behavior and technical barriers within the public and private sector, we know gradually devise strategies on case reporting simplification and exploring the possibilities of extension of accreditation to private facilities that offer the best standard of care and innovative public education. I hope our dialogue tonight will put us all on agreement that investing in fighting against TB is everybody's business. It is the time for us to catalyze cross-sectoral collaboration and start a new beginning where we can leave a legacy for future generations. A world with no suffering from TB. If a nation with the third highest TB burden can step up to this commitment, there are no reason for others not to do the same. Thank you, and I hope we have a fruitful discussion.
Thank you, Pak Arifin. And again, we welcome Dr. Poonam Singh, Regional Director of CRO WHO. And Dr. Singh, since you are here with us, please indulge us with a few words for tonight's event. Thank you.
Mr. Panigoro, Chairman of the Stop TB Partnership for Indonesia, Dr. Nila, our Honorable Health Minister of Indonesia, those that are present here this evening, friends who are working for Stop TB, a very good evening to all of you. TB, of course, is something which is so relevant and so important for the Southeast Asia region that it's almost 50% of the global burden, and to be very exact, 44% of the global burden of TB that we find in the Southeast Asia region. And if we look very closely, there are two countries which really have the greatest burden, India and Indonesia, and that's largely because of the huge populations that these two countries have. We all understand that India is the second largest populated country in the world, followed by Indonesia, which is the fourth largest, and therefore these are huge numbers we are talking about. We also have a large burden of MDR TB in this region. Therefore, to eliminate or to stop TB, this region cannot be ignored. We cannot really achieve to do what we set out to achieve till we address TB in both these countries and the Southeast Asia region. A lot is happening here. Ministers of the region met in 2017 and they adopted a declaration called the Delhi Declaration, whereby they reiterated the goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, and decided that they would stop TB by 2030. There are some countries who have also shown more ambition and they have pledged to end TB by 2025. There are countries in the region which are now talking of eliminating TB and HIV together. So we are excited at the progress in the region. We see there is a lot of commitment in the region. we find that more resources are being allocated to TB control. There is a genuine effort, there is a political commitment to see that yes, TB can be controlled in the region. We also find that there is a large amount of interest from scientists, from donors, from those around, because there is a realization that it cannot be business as usual. There has to be something different now. And all partners need to come together, as was just mentioned by Mr. Panigoro, that we need to get the private sector involved. In some countries of the region, we find that it's not just the public sector which is catering to those who suffer from TB. A large amount of those go to the private sector. And very often we don't get the right kind of information on who goes there. And therefore, to address and for the private sector to come forth, for all partnerships to come forth is extremely important. I would therefore like to reiterate that WHO is fully committed to it. We've had a number of resolutions on it, not only at the global level in the World Health Assembly, but also at the regional level, where ministers of health have adopted resolutions and have committed to stop TB. In 2018, there was another ministerial meeting where a plan of action was drawn up, and that focused also on innovation, on research, to look for new ways, new diagnostics, new medicines, a vaccine which could then help in controlling TB. So we all have to work together for it. Those that are present here representing different organizations, those from the government sector, people like us from the WHO, all of us have the same aim, to see that yes, we should work together and try to see how we could stop TB. So we would welcome this partnership. We know that this is not something that can be done by the government alone or by one organization alone or even by the health sector. It is a whole of government approach that we need when we try to address TB. So I would like to once again reiterate that this is something which is extremely important for our region. In fact, it's a flagship of our region. We had 7 flagships before in 2014, and on the recommendations of the Ministers of Health, another flagship was added on TB in 2017. And today, we as a region and we as an organization are fully committed to see how we could support countries of our region, how we could build capacity in the countries, how we could encourage more research, how we could encourage innovation, so that together we could work and see how TB could be controlled in the region. So we are not really talking of elimination at this point of time. We are talking of stopping it. We are talking of bending the curve. And that is what we are looking forward to. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Poonam Singh. That was very enlightening. And next, we would like to kindly invite Her Excellency, Professor Nila Moeloek, the Minister of Health of the Republic of Indonesia, for her keynote speech tonight. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Mr. Arifin is and Mrs. Francis Arifin Panigoro, both of them is very active for the Stop TB. Thank you very much for your kindness to help us. Madam Poonam, Regional Director of Sharo, WHO. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for me to be here tonight and deliver these remarks. I would like to that this opportunity to thank and congratulate the Indonesian Stop TB Partnership Forum for organizing this lovely dinner. Stop TB Partnership Indonesia is a great example of a collaborative process between a civil society organization and government sharing the same objective of ending TB in Indonesia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today our world is facing a great challenge to eliminate TB. TB kills 1.7 million lives, and the disease also affects the rest of the people living on this planet. In fact, kill more people than those caused by HIV/AIDS and malaria combined. The impact of TB is a huge and widely spread. It is estimated that TB-related mortality has caused the loss of $616 billion during the period of 2000 to 2015, and in long run, it may lead to a further loss of $984 billion globally. We know that TB has never been a simple and easy problem. It involves multifaceted determinants which have made it persist on Earth, especially at the corner of the poorest and the neglected part of the world. It is evident that TB is not only a health problem, it requires multidimensional approach to be finally eliminated. That said, to end TB by 2030 and to achieve global goals, government cannot work alone. I agree with you, Madam Poonam. We need strong commitment and bold action of all sectors at all levels to work hand in hand with us. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge the importance of orchestrating effort as well as a clear role for each stakeholder to ensure the efforts are harmonized and in line toward the same goals. Toward that vision, the government of Indonesia acknowledges that the creation of an enabling environment that harnesses, accommodates, and triggers multi-actors and multi-stakeholders collaboration to end TB by 2030 is key. Keeping that in mind, the government of Indonesia has already incorporated ending TB as a health priority in the National Midterm Development Plan. And at this strategic turning point, as Indonesia is transforming toward achievement of universal health coverage, ensuring access and quality of healthcare are key to achieve this target. However, we have to acknowledge that despite the availability of resources from different budget envelopes, national and subnational government, and also from development partners, the progress of ending TB remains behind if compared with the growing population and the increased development complexities. This current situation provides a clear snapshot of government and civil society collaboration, one in which room for growth and improvement remain wide. Now, as we make our collective step towards the next phase of ending TB and utilizing the second wave of momentum of the high-level meeting on TB, allow me to offer a few strategic perspectives of action that we must see happening on the ground. First, addressing our common and individual modalities. As governance to end TB is designed by government, private sector, individual modalities, and governance to end TB is designed by governments, private sector, third sector, and civil society can find innovative ways to break through the current challenges. One option that can be considered is alternative financing, which allow combination of state and donors of private resources must be explored together between the different actors. Second, demand creation to ensure sustainability of program because ending TB involves long-term commitment from the stakeholders. The strength of civil society is its close proximity to the communities. If civil society can be the bridge that unblocks fragmentation of effort to end TB, while at the same time works closely with government and academia and other actors, elimination of MDR will be more attainable. Third, work closely with subnational governments in addressing the variety and complexity of TB cases. There are national regulations available to ensure success of instruction of healthy lifestyle movement. Ministerial decree of family based approach and minimum standard of health services as indicator of measurement of success of district health leaders are three strategic regulations that all of us must utilize optimally. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, ending TB extends beyond health boundaries and health stakeholders. It cuts across different development sectors and demands multi-actor involvement. I believe that this meeting is only the first step of our multiple action in the future, one that promises integration and collaboration, and I will take the discussion we have this evening as a key input towards a renewed, not only promise, but also action to happen on the ground toward ending TB in 2030. I thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Menteri. Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is still young, and I'm sure we'll have plenty to discuss throughout the evening. But before we do that, the dinner will be served and the dialogue will commence right after dinner. So before our dialogue, please enjoy your dinner. Thank you.